Ha! Another data miner kata, if you dare to do it. Hello and welcome to another Bringing the Thunder kata exercise that we'll be doing today. As you can see, I'm standing alone here, but that's a lie. It's fake. I'm not actually alone. I have a very special guest today. Rene, are you there?
Yes, sir. I'm here.
Yes.
How are you?
Excellent. I'm doing great. Yourself, doing all right? You ready for this, man?
Perfect.
You're ready for this. Okay. Well, Rene, so you're my special guest for today on this kata. I believe the topic was going to be information templates, right?
That is correct.
That's correct. So, Rene, before we get going, I want to know, and maybe the other people as well, I hope, who are you, what do you do at Skyline, and where are you from? Where are you calling in from right now?
All right. So I am Rene. I am based in Miami from the Western office.
Yes.
And I work for the experience and performance management domain. I am the engineering manager for that domain. And basically, we worked deploying very large solutions across the data miner install base.
Yeah, really big solutions, large scale projects, takes a lot of wisdom and intelligence to figure out all the puzzle pieces there. So mad respect and hat off to you. Also because I'm wearing a headset, it doesn't work very well. But that aside, Miami, man, I hope the weather's better there than here, because it's been great here, man. It's been bad. I don't know.
Yeah, it is actually fantastic. Looking out of the window, I feel sorry for you guys.
Oh, okay.
That's okay.
Well, let's heat things up a bit with a nice exercise. How about that? So you've prepared something about information templates. Is there a prerequisite that we need to be able to get going with this, or?
Yes. The first thing you need is to head over to the catalog.dataminer.services and look up this package called Info Template Quick Tips.
Right, Info Template Quick Tips on the catalog.
That is correct. And just make sure that you could deploy the latest CU right here, CU1.
Yeah. Okay, so that's a prerequisite. We've done that a few times in other katas, so should be easy by now. Deploying that on your system. What does it actually deploy on the system?
All right. So when you do that, when you click deploy here, you can select the data miner system you want. You know all that. I saw an excellent kata on that as well. When you do that, and by the way, I'm also using a DAS, a data miner as a service system for this exercise. When you deploy the package, you're going to see a view that pops up called Info Template Quick Tips. And inside an element called Info Template Quick Tips.
Okay.
And in that element, you're going to see this table called the master table, populated with very simple data.
Yeah, some outstations there, just some basic data that you've plugged in there or put in there. Okay, great. Now, information templates. Where are they? What do they do? How do they work?
All right, correct. So information templates are tools within Data Miner that allow you to enhance the visual display of data. Not just within Cube. We're going to be using Cube today, but please know that everything we talk about here also applies to the web apps.
Okay. All right. And what would be your first step to get going with this?
All right, so today I'm planning to do a very basic exercise. First, we're going to configure an information template. We're going to apply it to this element, and then we're going to see how everything on the UI changes. And if you're okay with that, I'll get started right away.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, everyone following along by now, you should have deployed that. We can follow along exactly as you do. So yeah, I'm interested. So where do we go? Where do we see these things?
Heading over to protocols and templates.
All right.
This time it open.
There we go.
You go to, when you open this up, you have various sections in here. You have versions just to control the versions of the protocols, alarm templates, as you said, trend templates. For this exercise, we're going to be focusing here on information templates. Okay.
Yeah.
And the first thing you see is a default information template. This is what gets created when the code for the connector is created. That one always exists. It's always there. You can't change it. You can't delete it. It's just the way the connector is shipped out.
All right.
Today, go ahead.
No, the default one, like you say, yeah, makes sense. So the one shipped along with the connector. in there. Okay.
That's correct. Yes. So today, my plan is to create an information template for the people watching. You already have a head start here because we have included a blank info template that you could start using. And later on, we're also going to use an alarm template. But I'm just going to get started. The first thing is to right click here in this area and say create new. We're just going to call it info template session, just so that it doesn't get confused with the other one. And when you open it up, this is what you find. On the left, you have all the parameters that are available within that connector.
Okay.
And on the right, you have our workspace where we're going to be focusing today to do the exercise.
Okay.
Now, before we get started, I wanted to show something here. When you go to this table, anyone that's familiar with satellites will realize the data that's here. You're talking about Earth stations, where the Earth stations are located, and in here you see weather conditions.
Yes.
However, if you look at the headings, nothing makes sense here.
Bad connector. Eh? Someone who made that that would not have passed the normal QA and code reviewing, but I'm assuming for the purpose of the exercise here, we're going to be changing that, I suppose, with an information template.
That is correct. We're going to give these columns meanings so that they follow the actual content within the table.
Nice. Okay.
So you could probably take a look at this and see how it looks, and then we're going to come back and see how it looks after we apply the info template.
Yep.
The first thing is, of course, the name of the table. It says master table. That doesn't mean anything. And I'm gonna change that right away. When you select the parameter, by the way, all of these are the parameters that exist within that connector. You find this on the right, and you are able to override a couple of things. The first thing you can override is the description, column 1 or master table, the name of the table. And in this case, we're gonna say Earth stations, right? Just for the sake of it.
Yeah, makes sense.
And that's it. If you apply that, of course, you automatically get the change. As you can see here, if you look back to the table, if we close the car and come back, we're going to see that now when we apply the template, it's going to be applied.
All right. So it does take a refresh of the card to visualize that change, pretty much.
Well, it doesn't take a refresh. What happens is that we have not applied the information template yet to that connector. So we will do that after I'm done configuring it.
I get it. I'm running ahead. Okay. Yeah. Yes. All right. Let's keep going then.
Yeah. So going back here, we have renamed our table. It will show Earth stations, and then I'm going to rename these 3 columns just to give it a name, a location, and then weather conditions. I'm going to go quickly through there. We're just going to call the first column 1 name. Very simple. And column 2, which is this one that's here.
Location, I suppose.
Correct.
Location or
location. Yes.
Nice.
Location. Column 3 is weather conditions. And not to complicate things, we're going to call it weather conditions. And we're going to stay here for a minute.
Okay.
Weather conditions. And we're going to stay on this one for a minute because this one is going to allow us to actually explain the rest of the exercise. So,
yes.
The next step that you find here is detailed description. The detailed description in Data Miner is when you are on a parameter and you double click on it, you go into this. And for this one, very, very handy, it says column 3 value. It means nothing.
Yeah.
But
you can override that with something of your own choosing.
Here we're going to say the weather at the location.
Earth station or at the location of the
site.
Yeah, makes sense.
That makes sense. The next thing we see here is a custom name. What's a custom name? A custom name is sometimes within Data Miner you have multiple connectors that have the same parameter integrated, but the developer at the time decided to name it different. For example, some people could call this field weather conditions. Other people could call it conditions. Other people could call it weather.
Okay.
And what this field does is if you say weather conditions and you do this same thing across all the connectors that have a similar parameter, you are able to call that parameter from any module within Data Miner in a generic fashion without having to specify the name of that parameter on each connector independent.
Okay, so that actually overrides the name as it says, but also that's the kind of the key that you use to do like a get parameter or a set parameter from automation, from other connectors, SLNet, all of that stuff. It allows you. Yeah, cool. Okay.
Yeah, next up we have our the category. This is a custom parameter, and you can see that we ship out with some categories already. What are we talking about? Is this a configuration, hardware, network, none? In this case, because we're talking about satellite, I'm gonna name it signal fault. Okay? If you have a weather issue, you could have a signal fault. Let's just call it like that. And please, satellite purists, don't call me out because of that.
Well, okay, but yeah, if the weather condition's bad enough, you will get a signal fault, pretty much, I think, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, the next one is the key point. And again, we are including some defaults here that you could select from. The key point is something that we use is to indicate where the fault would happen. In this case, if you have a weather condition, where exactly in the signal path will the impact come from? And that's something that we could say here. For example, we could say reception. Let's say you are an Earth station. You will have issues with the reception if you have weather issues. Let's just call it like that.
Okay.
Very important. This is used within the data miner business analytics engine. And if marketing could put some link around here to that module, that would be fantastic.
You heard the marketing.
Because we use it elsewhere within data miner, and it comes in very, very handy when it comes to SLAs and management of things like that.
So it kind of also assists with like finding a root cause of a problem, but also having it with a nice name so that it's clear from seeing, okay, this is the key point is reception, signal fault, all of that combined together to really give you a great description if there is a problem, to immediately know where to intervene, I suppose, to fix it.
That is correct. And keep in mind, you're not stuck with the ones we provide. You can just provide your own. Just start typing there and change it.
Nice. Okay.
Moving on, we have component info. And again, some defaults in there. At this point is, okay, what are we talking about? What is the exact component within the service that's being impacted? In this case, I'm just going to say entire service. Why? Because we know that if it is raining and you're relying on satellite, everything without this, the service is going to be impacted. Okay?
Yeah, makes sense.
Business engine, we use this also within that module.
Okay.
Next, we have parameter access. And for this, I'm going to jump to actually column 4, and we're just going to say hide this parameter here. And when we apply it, we're going to see that this column is going to disappear from the UI.
All right. Is it completely gone, or can you still expand it? Like, does it set a width to 0, or is it gone?
We will see it now.
Cool.
It disappears from the axis of the UI.
Okay.
We'll take a look at that. Yeah. And I'll move on because I'm not going to hide my weather conditions for sure.
Please don't. We spend all this time making it, so.
So the alarm description, of course, you can override it. This is just, any description you want to add here. In this case, you could just call it weather impact. Okay. Just so that the operators know what type of alarm you're looking at. And corrective actions, very, very important here. This is for the operator. For example, we could say rain. You could say something like mass for 1 hour. Okay? Because if it's raining and you see an alarm, there's nothing you can do. You have to wait for it.
Yeah, you cannot use an umbrella to get the rain out of the satellite. That's not going to work. So pretty much, you just got to wait it out.
Yeah. I am actually familiar with an integration that does just this. For example, if it is snowing, they have a business rule that says mass for 2 hours because snow takes typically more than rain. And that is very interesting. This is also used in the business analytics. This is also used within the alarm console. We are going to see that in a minute. Then you have offline impact. This is, okay, if I get an alarm for this specific parameter, does it impact outside my service level agreement, yes or no. By default is no, it doesn't impact it, because if you are doing the offline window of the SLA, typically you don't care if you have alarms because you're not actively servicing your customers. But in this case, just for the sake of it, I'm going to say yes. If it is raining, I'm going to have an impact. Or if I have an impact, yeah.
Even if it's offline for the customers, you might still have an impact. And that's kind of what you're trying to indicate there with that checkbox then, if I understood it right?
Yes, you put it better than me. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That means I'm following along perfectly. So, okay, under there, I see alarm properties.
Yeah, and here is where people go wild with alarms, because you could create as many as you want. Okay.
Right.
If you have an alarm property here that you call whatever you want to call here, you could call it, let's say, ticket number. So let's say that when you have this alarm, you want to attach it to a ticket number that comes from the data mine ticketing system. You could do that, so the operators don't have to go to two screens. They can just stay in the alarm console and see exactly what the ticket number is. In this case, we're just going to call it XYZ. For the sake of it, we're not going to go too crazy with it.
Yeah, so pretty much it's like metadata. You're attaching kind of metadata to an alarm if it were to happen, triggered by that column.
That's correct. Yes.
Nice.
Okay. And then, of course, you have parameter value here, a snapshot, meaning in data mining, you have the ability to offload data to external systems like databases, also flat files. But that's done in a separate configuration. And if you wanted to change that for a specific parameter, you can do that straight from the information template, which is also very powerful. But I'm not going to do that because the system is not configured to offload any data. Okay?
Okay.
And with that, we have configured it. I'm just going to apply it.
Okay.
And one thing I wanted to show here was that at the top here, you could just select the ones that you have edited. And the UI becomes very clean.
Yes, just a filtered view of this is what I already touched. So let's keep touching only those things for now. Yeah.
That is correct. And then here, of course, you can clear everything with a single button within this card. You could also filter. And here you have a very special entry, which is you could actually have rules at the information level based on the things that you have in your team. Okay. So if, for example, you wanted to, and I'm going to duplicate this now just for the sake of it. If, for example, we wanted to say that, let's just say that if we are in the East Coast, you want to apply a different rule if it is raining, okay? You could come in here and say, rain lasts for 2 hours and snow lasts for 3 hours, okay? And you could say that if that's going to happen if you're talking about East Coast. Why? Because if you show this here, the display key that we're not showing, you see the display key has the East Coast. So
yeah, I was going to ask how does it know to filter on that column, but you preempted my question with the right answer, so that's nice. Indeed, so through the key there, everything in the key or in the display key can be used then as that filter. That's actually really interesting. So depending on the location, you can have different properties, different actions that you need to take. Yeah, that's actually very powerful indeed.
Yeah, it is. So if I select this here, and I'm not going to change everything again, I'm just going to change this over there on the West Coast. I'm just going to say that the corrective actions are going to be different, and that's the end of it. Okay, I'm just going to say that it's going to be 1 hour and 2, just because in the West Coast of the U.S. Rain less and it snows more.
Yes.
So I'll apply that, and we're going to move on. I'm going to say okay, and now the magic happens.
Right.
Well, it has not happened because we have not applied it, but we will do it now.
Yes, okay. So I can see the new template is in there, the one that we just made, info template session. So I'm going to guess right-click and apply.
Yes, sir.
Nice.
You go here and you set as active information template. It just gives you a warning. You say yes, and that's it. You go back here. Of course,
Oh, there it is. It's already visible, huh?
You see that it applies right away. Now, there is one that didn't apply, which is the high column, which is column 4 here, is still there. And the way you just get around that is you have to reopen the element.
I figured we were going to have to do that for all the changes. I was already surprised to see it just changed at runtime, because some of the cart info does indeed get loaded up just when it opens up. So, but it's hidden indeed. It's not in there.
Yeah, it's not going to show up. It's hidden from the UI because the intention is still that no operator has access to that for some reason. Okay. So you see the change. Now we have name. We have a nice location. We have weather conditions. That's fantastic. So the next thing, very powerful for information templates, as we were thinking about, is the application of alarm templates. And I'm going to open an alarm template here real quick to just search for our weather. And by the way, when you change the information template, the parameters already changed everywhere. So you are able to look up parameters without having to use the old names. You are now able to use the new names that we apply. Okay?
Yeah.
We're going to say sunny. Oh, the other sunny. Sunny is okay. Everything is fine. If it's raining, we're going to say that. Yeah.
And snow is going to be a major critical then. Yeah.
Yeah, snow is a little bit more because, it creates ice and all that. Satellite equipment don't like that.
Nope.
And we apply this. And then, again, you got to go back here and say that you want to assign your element, the info template quick tips. And that's it. When you do that, a bunch of alarms pop up. And you could, come back here and you have rain, snow, and all that. But we remember that we configure a bunch of parameters.
Yeah, I was going to ask. We should now see those things like how do we tackle the problem if it's on the East Coast or the West Coast. So we should probably see that somewhere then, right?
Yes. So by default, it doesn't show because this is the clean alarm console. You have to right-click headers, and then you need to start adding columns. We're going to add the category, alarm description, everything pretty much we change. Could be added, but again, I'm going to make you happy and add the corrective actions.
Yes.
And that's the power of the information templates. Now, if you look here, if I'm an operator and I receive an alarm from the West Coast, I know that I only need to mask it 1 hour if it's rain, right?
Yeah.
Or 2 hours if it's snow. And it is completely different for the West Coast.
Yeah. And it's the same parameter, the same elements, the same column even. The only thing that gives you the power is that extra layer that we just added on top of that, the information template. So that's pretty impressive actually to see done so quickly as well. It's pretty quality of life is pretty high with this UI, I think, as well. So that went pretty quick. Is there anything really critical you still wanted to show us, or should we let them take a screenshot of this screen to say, hey, I know what you're talking about and I did it? Or you got anything else for us?
I wanted to show a bonus, drop a bonus here because...
oh man, I love a bonus. Give me bonuses all the time.
Yeah. You saw me applying this here, and information templates, by the way, can be edited. You could change the information template for one parameter if you want to. You can come in here and say change information, and you could change certain things for a specific parameter without having to go over there. Why this is because not all operators have access to the editing of the full information templates. So we allow for this option so that people can also change certain things like the categories, the alarm description, the corrective actions without having access to the administration module.
Right, because the templates were in the administration module, and every module has its own authentication and all of their user access. But in this case, you're saying here, if someone has access to that parameter, you could also give them access to changing the information template for that specific parameter then.
That is correct. The second bonus I'll drop in before we part ways is that you saw me applying the information template here. And what happens is when you apply the information template, it applies to all the elements within the system. And we have seen that sometimes that could be inconvenient.
All the elements of that connector, though.
All the elements running that connector will be applied under that information template. And we have seen that some systems don't like that too much because certain elements don't necessarily need to change the way they are displayed.
Mm-hmm.
To get around that, and this is a feature that is that a lot of people know exists, you could actually go in a per element fashion and go here where it says parameter names and actually change it. Okay? And I'm going to look for location. Okay? And we saw that we call it location. But for this element, I just want to change it and say region.
Oh, nice. So from the drop-down menu, the right-click menu on the element, you can actually go to the names, I think you called it, parameter names. Was
Correct.
that it?
So if you open up an element from the hamburger menu right here,
right,
you can navigate to parameter names.
And then you actually override a specific information template, but just for that element.
That is correct. So if you do location, for example, you could now call it, as I was going to do, region. And if we apply that, moving forward, this element will always display region here. But if you create a new element,
it wouldn't.
That one will still show location.
Okay, so it's a powerful, it gets applied to every element by default, but if there are specific ones you don't want or you want to override them, you can do it like that.
Correct.
Nice. Okay. Any other bonuses for us, or do you think?
I'll leave it there because I want to make sure you bring me back.
Oh man, you are more than welcome to come back. Of course. I mean, it's if you bring such interesting information, you're always welcome. We're looking at a nice screen here. Maybe we should pop open the alarms as well, if you could.
Yes. So if you're gonna submit your screenshots, please bring over the alarm console.
Yeah, man.
Show the corrective actions. Take a screenshot and go with it.
Yeah, so for everyone indeed watching, following along, take a screenshot of a similar setup on your staging or on your DOS agent that we just created here. Feel free to send that in through the usual channels, and we'll get you your DevOps points for doing that. It's an amazing, powerful tool, and it's a quick and fun experience to actually develop it. It was interesting to see that, so Rene, thank you very much for making some time preparing this kata for us and showing it. So
thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, for sure. And everyone watching, if you are watching from YouTube, don't forget to like, subscribe, ring that notification bell so you're always aware of any new videos we bring out. If you have any questions, or if you want to learn more about specific topics in DataMiner, also don't hesitate. Send us a little mail to thunder@skyline.be. Give us a suggestion for a topic you'd like to learn more about, and we'll get that done just for you. Okay, everyone watching, thank you very much, and I'll catch you on the next one. Goodbye.